that occurred in the Prophet's life ﷺ. And these 4 ayat are dedicated to this one conversation that the Prophet ﷺ had with a woman who's otherwise not very famous at all. Her name was Khawla radiallahu anha. She had a problem with her husband and she wanted to discuss this problem with the Prophet ﷺ. But because of this conversation, and she was complaining about something, and the Prophet ﷺ did not have an answer for her question, and Allah had not revealed an answer to him yet. Instead of complaining to the Prophet ﷺ, after arguing with him, she complained to Allah. And Allah revealed Quran because of her. And years later, after the Prophet ﷺ had passed away, Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, who was the head of state. You can think of it in today's terms, he was the president. And he was traveling with an entourage, and they have, of course, a short deadline, they have to get somewhere. So Umar bin al-Khattab was meeting with a bunch of delegates from different parts, of Quraysh, etc. And she was passing down the street and she said, Ya Umar. She just called him, Umar. And Umar radiallahu anhu stopped the caravan, stopped the entourage, and the official government trip. He got off his horse, he went down and he started talking to her. And she starts yelling at him. And she says to him, I knew you when they used to call you Umair. Umair means little Umar. She's like, I remember you since you were little. And then she's giving him like, you should fear Allah. Now you're a big shot, huh? Now you're head of state. You're the Amir al-Mu'mineen. Look at you now. Always fear Allah. Always remember Allah. And she talks to him for a good hour. She's giving him a lecture on the street right there. And all his crew, his security, all the other ambassadors that are waiting, they're just standing there waiting until he's done. And he doesn't say a word. And when she's done, then she leaves, and then he says we can go. And some of his staff came to him and said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, head of the believers, ma ra'ayna mithla al-yawm, we haven't seen a day like this one. I've never seen something like this. What, you stop all of this, all of these VIPs, bil ajuz, this old lady, that's why you stop? And he said, this woman, when she complained, her complaint was heard above 7 heavens. And Allah revealed Quran for this woman. If she talked to me all night, I would have been standing here. And if she kept me the next day, I would have been standing here. The only time I would have left is if she gave me the excuse to go pray. So that's the only time I would have left. But otherwise, how am I not going to listen to someone who is heard above the 7 heavens? And Quran comes down for her. Anyhow, she comes to the Prophet ﷺ complaining. And when she talks to him, she says a bunch of things. She says a bunch of things about her husband. She says he's an old man, he doesn't have good manners. I used to be able to, and she's younger than him, but she's not that young. Right? So she says, I used to be able to have children, but now that I can't have kids anymore,